The Classic. Here's Tom Durkin.
And they're off. War Emblem away well, but Dubai got the jump on him, firing right off the mark. Came home on the outside, and Medaglia d'Oro comes on through. Dubai is the leader as they race for the first turn. On the outside, Medaglia d'Oro, and War Emblem is in between horses. He's running second now, and he'll go on to challenge Dubai into the clubhouse turn. Perfect Trip takes to the inside in fourth. Valponi rides the rails in fifth. Came home is hustled up on the outside from sixth now. Mike Smith wants to get him closer. He's 6 lengths from front running Dubai. Macho Uno is now running in mid-pack, and he's 7th. Harlan's Holiday is 8th. Milwaukee Brew is 9th. Hawkwing is unhurried, a bit wide going into the backstretch. 4 lengths back to the stretch runner Evening Attire, and the last of them all is Dollar Bill, and he is 12 lengths from the front runners, and they're moving right along here. A testing opening half mile by Dubai in 46 3/5 seconds, and War Emblem is chasing him in earnest. He's under a hustling ride there by Espinoza, and Perfect Drift is just coasting along in third. Medaglia d'Oro fourth with 5 furlongs to go here. Toward the inside, Valponi bottled up in fifth. And then it's Harlan's Holiday, 6th as they approach the far turn. Macho Uno is moving up methodically on the inside, and Came Home is coming up empty. Hawkwing is now beginning to circle horses on the far outside. Hawkwing's in here. So too is Milwaukee Brew. Rounding the far turn, and the Derby winner's in front. War Emblem has taken over, but Medaglia d'Oro is right there in his throat latch, and Valponi comes charging on through as the field turns for home. Valponi on the inside has taken over. The leader at the top of the stretch. He's leaving Medaglia d'Oro behind in second, and War Emblem is spent. Then farther back, it is Milwaukee Brew, who's now third, followed by Macho Uno fourth. They're coming down to the finish, and it's going to be a huge upset. 40-1 on the wire. Valponi scores in the Classic. He wins by a half a dozen lengths.
Sent off at 43-1. Valponi wins by 6.5 under Jose Santos. What a day for 77-year-old Hall of Fame trainer Phil Johnson. Final race of the career for War Emblem, and Came Home.
Obviously, Mr. Johnson did a lot of things right, and the thing that he's going to be most remembered for, I think, is the decision to run Valponi in the Classic in the first place. He was also pre-entered in the Breeders' Cup Mile as a second preference, and going into the Breeders' Cup week, most people thought he would wind up running in the mile. But Johnson pulled a switch, said we'll try him in the Classic instead. Of course, more money. Now, at the start, you saw Dubai on the inside go to the lead, War Emblem chasing. Even though the fractions of this race were not as fast as War Emblem's Preakness, Victor Espinosa has to basically hustle War Emblem just to stay within a length of Dubai. And even though War Emblem went past him at the top of the stretch, it was clear that this was not going to be War Emblem's day. Came Home backed up badly. Meanwhile, Valponi goes past Medaglia d'Oro at the top of the lane like he was standing still. A ground-saving ride from Santos. Medaglia d'Oro coming into this race off a 2-month layoff. Maybe Bobby Frankel, as well as Bob Baffert, might be second-guessing their decisions to have such inactivity leading into this race. Meanwhile, some confidence expressed by a horse, Phil G. Johnson, after Valponi's victory.
Well, he was just getting so good, and we were sitting at home, and I was talking to my wife. We kid around a lot, and she hollered at me for something. I said, Saturday, you're going to be at the 3/16 pole, very proud of me. And then she told the girls that, and they asked me, I said, I do believe he can win a race like that if he gets a good trip. And I didn't know how he'd run in mud, and it dried up. We talked it over, and I said, you've never ridden him with blinkers on, and he'll be more aggressive. There's a world of speed in here, and they can't, those 3-year-olds can't go a mile and a quarter. I didn't think off the layup. So I said, sit close, and when you're ready to go, just go.
You know, even though he run second, third, you know, he went to the grass, run second. He went back to the door, he run second in the Maryland Cup, and now he show up in the Classic and he went big. I mean, he should have a little bit of consideration because he's a great horse. He deserved to be one of the top.
Even though Phil sounded like Vito Corleone, he's really a sweet guy.
Made him an offer they can't refuse. ESPN.com. It was the final weekend for the Pick 6 Challenge presented by